recording and let you all know that we are recording. Let's see, I do hear somebody's background noise, so let me see who that might be. It was Diane. That's so interesting. So, Diane, okay, yeah, go ahead. Hello, Sandy, welcome. We're getting started. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Wonderful. Thank you. I'm well. I want to cover today, we're going to continue with we're at our abstracts, where you're at with that, and get you to sort of be brave. And the homework will include actually painting an abstract from start to finish. Then we're going to begin to just do a little drawing. You know, this isn't a drawing class, but I know some of you want to paint representationally and you have ideas in your head, and how do you do that? So, you know, having a little bit of drawing skill will help you. There are, of course, much more in-depth drawing classes and things to do. And I don't know if I'll do that in the future or not, but so what I'd like to know is, how are you feeling so far in this course?
Great.
Great. We get a great.
This is really pushing me forward. I'm loving it.
Great, which is what I know you wanted. That's good. And I think all of you wanted that, but it's not easy, is it? How about some more? How about some other comments?
Well, I went back on that painting that I hated.
Yeah.
The one with the gold, and I used some of your suggestions. You'll have to go look, but I like it. So far,
Good.
I use the palette knife and trying some different things, and
yay,
a little more encouraged.
Great, great, great. I know it can be discouraging. Here's somebody. It can be discouraging when you're learning, because you know you have this vision in your head of what you want it to look like, and you know you don't yet have the skill to pull it off, and so it's just this constant battle of dream versus reality. But you know, and I posted what I hope you all got to read what Sandy Suganuma had sent me in an email, because we had this little chat offline, and I thought it was perfect. You know, I've been obviously trying to relay the idea of practicing, not being afraid to make mistakes. You're not going to produce a perfect painting. No.
I love her painting. I mean, look, the transformation from the previous one to this one was like, wow, suddenly it just comes out and everything, boom, boom, boom.
That's what happens. It's kind of like when if you're learning to play chords, you know, I had a little piano as a kid, and I didn't really learn theory or chords or anything. I just learned how to read music a little bit, you know, pretty good, but not great. And I took some piano again here. And, you know, when I took up painting, I took up piano at the same time. Did I ever tell you guys that? I was just bursting with the need to explore creativity. So I took them both up at the same time. And piano is way harder than painting. So I eventually dropped the piano and focused on painting. But, you know, like trying to get a chord, like, I don't get it. What do you mean? You know, and how does that work? And then all of a sudden one day, you play a couple of chords together and they sound really good together. And you're like, oh, I get it. And then you can move forward a little bit. It's the same way here. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged because of where you're at, and where you want to be. And remember that all of you are in different stages of your painting creative explorations, because some of you never painted, or hardly, or some of you did a little bit in watercolor like Sherilyn and never did anything with acrylic, or somebody's done oil only. I have someone in my nighttime group who's done oil only. So you see all of these things come together and present where you are in the moment, and you just can't help that. Going to turn up my brightness a little bit, I think. There we go. I think that'll be a little better. Yeah, is that better? Okay. All right. So we're going to, so today we're going to talk about abstracts. We're going to do some drawing. If there's time, I can talk more about this painting behind me. We're going to do an encounter. And today's encounter, I have an idea. I have a genesis of an idea, and I'm just going to let Holy Spirit take us. But we're going to eventually end up in heaven. And I'd like to invite Bezalel. I'd like to invite the Lord to introduce us to Bezalel and maybe just be in the presence of the Creator and a student that was already pretty skilled, who he anointed to build the beautiful components of the temple. What an honor he had. So he's obviously a righteous, real, I guess, or remnant of the Lord from those days in Exodus. And he still is probably creating because, we're going to be busy for eternity. So what you get empowered to do now, like I'm imagining being in eternity, painting or creating for a long time, and just imagine how good we'll get. Or just imagine when the Lord reestablishes the new heaven and the new earth, what our roles might be for eternity, based on what we were willing to do today. So I think let that inspire you to have a bigger vision of why you're painting. So today we paint because I was going to explode if I didn't do something. So I had no logic or reason. I just knew I had to. Some of you have more logical, practical reasons to do it than I did, and we know we want to do it. It's great to explore our creativity. It's great to influence others. It's great to bless others. It's great to get somebody to say, "Wow, that's really good. I'm so amazed." Those are all good things, but really, what are we hoping to do with it? And for me, I want to change the world through my art. Well, if I'm going to change the world through my art, I have to really be a fantastic artist, and I have to pursue it. I have to grow in skill and connection with the Lord, and keep doing it, not be afraid. And then I want to serve the Lord for all eternity in whatever way he wants me to. So how about you guys? Be thinking about that. Matter of fact, you could just put it in the chat, or you can just open your mic and utter a sentence if you want before we begin. Yeah, Joanne.
I'll share. At the beginning, well, I have always wanted to take painting lessons since I was little, but didn't get a chance to. So when I turned 50, I thought that, okay, I better do something to fulfill my dream while I'm still young, that I could.
Yeah.
And then at that time, I suddenly one day, of course, it's from the Lord, I suddenly one day remembered that, oh, I have all these vivid dreams ever since little. And my mom always like, wow, your dreams are crazy, like that way. Now I suddenly got that connection. Oh, maybe God is communicating with me through dreams. So at that moment, I started to have lots of dreams, and I was journaling and everything. And I was thinking, hey, why don't I take art lesson and started painting my dreams? So that was how it started. And so I tried that and stopped a year after because that teacher moved back to Netherlands. Anyhow, so now my purpose, my want to paint is I want to learn more so that I have a disability ministry with a group of special needs adults with autism and different medical conditions. And I have tried painting with them, just grabbing tutorials from the YouTube. And just a year or two ago when we started that, And I found out that, wow, they love it. I mean, in the summertime, I need a break.
Right.
So I said, why don't we paint? So the moms love it so much because all along our mind is thinking, oh, our children cannot do this, cannot do this, cannot do this. But with painting, there's no mistake.
Right.
So after that, well, my child can do this. And then there's another parent telling me how her son totally calmed down after painting. So I really want, and now I want not only that, I want to teach them how to connect to God, but I have to learn it first, and then the skill, I don't know how much I could teach them totally. Holy Spirit has to teach them, it's not me. So that is why
That's awesome,
I want to do
Joanna.
that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, really beautiful. That's an example of our way to impact the world right here and now. And I'm sure you all have different reasons, and we won't go into that more because we do have a lot to cover today. But that's a beautiful example of how God will take our life's journey and kind of funnel it into this, that's what's going on. And for those of us with a few more gray hairs, that seems to come later on. Right. And so what a journey, what a joyful journey. And you're right, to do it while we still can, and also to do it. I have found that the decade of the 60s, my 60s, were the most productive years of my life, really. And so I want to encourage all of you that might be approaching your 60s that this is going to be the best time. And if you're approaching your 70s, it gets better. So I think your 60s are in preparation for really this new decade as a mature woman of God who can really influence the world now because of all the steps she's taken to get there. So always remain motivated for the reason you've begun this journey and where God wants to take you. Okay, beloveds, so let's get ready to encounter the Lord. As I mentioned, I have this idea. I just want to get us into heaven and see if God will let us meet Bezalel and wherever he wants to take us from there. And thank you, Sandy. Yeah, it is therapeutic, and it is part of our own personal inner healing journey and the way we can take others there as well. That's what my book was, really, that inner healing journey through creativity. Joy in living color. I'll put a plug in. Okay, so get ready, relax. I'll put some music on. If you've got some essential oil, put a little bit in the palm of your hand. Rub it together really good. Let it warm up. Let it change the environment. Everything is frequency. Everything's frequency. Paint colors. I don't know this is a fact, but I know that how everything is a frequency, that probably different paint colors carry different frequencies, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? So we're just going to close our eyes and begin to drift into his presence. I will play some music for us in the background. Let me turn it down so it doesn't blast you. Somebody can let me know if the volume is good enough. I don't really want that song. Don't want to start with that song. I'm going to start here. And how's that volume? Can you hear me as well as the music? No, a couple of no's. You can't hear. That's because I forgot to press share. I can do that. Now let me know. So what I want to know is make sure you can hear me and over the music without too much straining on your part. I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, wonderful. So just relax, close your eyes, turn your heart towards Jesus, open your heart, You know, the second we turn our affection towards him, he's ready to respond, and he just pours it right back out over you. Just bask in that feeling for a moment. And then you can breathe in. He's our breath. So let's make sure we've filled up and saturated our being with the breath of God. So I like to do that with a big exhale, emptying everything. Then inhale through your nose, starting with your belly, and let it fill. Do that a couple of times. Exhaling it all. One more time, and exhale completely, and then breathe in from your belly. Maybe hold it at the top a moment if you can. And when you exhale, let it go all the way out, and then just pause there at the bottom. Don't breathe. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and breathe normally. Thank you, Lord. So now just allow yourself to see Jesus with you right now. Let his eyes of love pierce you and pull you. And when you take his hand, you're activating your holy imagination when we do this. We're shifting out of our left brain into our right brain, our right mind, really designed as the place of communion with the Lord, touching all of our heart. Now give yourself permission to follow him. You can pull up your spirit man by just literally lifting him up, like Bob Jones taught us to. Just call your spirit up, 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 up. And go with Jesus and let him lead you. Jesus, will you take us all with you? Take us into heaven. Maybe you're already there, or maybe you see yourself, being pulled up out the ceiling, floating through the clouds or space. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Follow his light, safe in his arms. Hold on. He'll never drop you. He'll never leave you. He loves to take you higher, soar, free, and encountering the bliss of heaven, the presence of God. If you're willing, let's all join together there wherever you are. Let's just go and be together. I can see you all with me. I want you with me, with Jesus. And notice what's around us. I kind of feel like we're in the most magnificent museum. I did have the privilege of once going to the, I forget the name of the museum in Florence, where so many great masterpieces are, especially the statue of David. There's a museum of living art. Beautiful, colorful, glorious, literally living. See and feel and experience. Take in the colors and the sights and the sounds. I see the Lord just grinning with delight and approval as he watches our wide-eyed wonder at what we're seeing. Nothing on earth like it. Thank you, Lord, for sharing with us. He wants to show us more. Let's go. Let's keep going. Follow him through this living masterpiece. Whoa. I'm just going to keep sharing what I'm seeing. You are all free to stay wherever you are or whatever God's showing you. But if you want to come and join me where I am, you're welcome. I feel like that we've walked into, in a way, a classroom in this fascinating, living, colorful, huge, glorious museum. Think of the greatest Baroque palaces or places that we've seen in the natural, and this is just a million times more elegant and colorful, and yet approachable and holy, yet free, playful, divine. And we've been escorted into this classroom, and we're each got tables and easels and product, lots and lots and lots of room. And there's just this sense of delight, joy, anticipation, childlike enthusiasm. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Want to see it? It's going to happen. And in walks Bezalel. He was a Hebrew architect, craftsman, designer, weaver, molder, metalsmith, embroiderer. He could do it all. And although it's not at all an ancient Jewish dress, I keep seeing him in like a French beret and a black and white striped t-shirt, like a Parisian street artist or something. We're welcomed to sit at our stations. We're not wearing cruddy, paint-covered clothes. We're in elegant, beautiful gowns, glimmering with colors that delight you, each of us in our favorite. Now just pause for a moment and ask Jesus to tell you, because he's with you, right? He's with each one of us. What am I nervous about, Lord? What am I worried about? Right here. Feel like his hand is there. All you have to do is just take that thing that you're nervous or worried about and just put it in his hand. Watch him do with it what he wants. And now, you are free to create anything you want right here. We have the creator, designer, master, genius, inventor of everything, with his hand on your shoulder, looking at your creation. And Bezalel is walking around, and his whole tribe, there's a Holiab, however you say his name, and then all the other artisans. They're eager to share with us. Do you feel the presence, the anointing, the infusion of creative spirit? This Holy Spirit is dancing around each one of us, like an embroidery needle, knitting us with love and creativity and flow and companionship and beauty. Don't be afraid to put your hand on the canvas or the statue or the clothing or the whatever you're there doing. This is a good time and place to ask yourself, are you willing to let that infusion of heaven's creativity stay with you, come with you, as you just put into practice your movements, your feelings? Will you believe that you have received heaven's anointing to grow in your giftings, expecting increase, expecting revelation, expecting breakthroughs and discoveries in every brushstroke, recognizing every brushstroke, a master holding your hand. As a matter of fact, while we're there in this studio classroom in this magnificent museum of heaven, let the master put his hand on yours and lead you in the brushstrokes across the page. Learn to follow like we did when we learned to dance. Because really, painting is a dance, isn't it? We get the chance to dance on the canvas with Jesus, the angels, the cloud of witnesses, the Holy Spirit, the Father, all present as we engage heaven and our love, our incredible love for Him and His outpouring love for us. Just let that love explode over you and into you and through you and out of you. Let the living waters pour in. And look around in that classroom. There's no competition. No one's better than another. Each one individual as our fingerprints. Anointed, called, equipped. You have been equipped for the call to be an artist of influence, releasing the love of God with every brushstroke. So say yes to your glorious God. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. What joy. What joy. What joy. What joy. And to think we get to stay in that place and create from that place anytime, as easy as remembering what just happened. We can just stay connected, filled, provided for, loved, encouraged, and let our master artist lead our hands. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Bezalel. Thank you, Aholiab, and all the other artisans who came in to share and equip and provide and anoint us and call us higher and higher and higher and higher. We expect great things because of you, Lord. Not for our accolades, but for your glory, your glory, your glory, Lord. That each one of us become an artist of influence in every realm of our lives. We love you, Lord. Thank you so much. I know it's hard to come back from that, but if you can just gently, let's just follow the Lord now back into your room, back to where your art supplies are and your easel, your brushes. And go ahead and declare. You might want to write it down. Make a declaration to the Lord that you're willing to keep from this experience. What are you willing to do or be or believe or discover? What are you willing to make a declaration to Him about? That was kind of fun. There we go. My talking camera. Okay. We're going to go look at, I'm going to turn off the music now. Isn't that lovely? Did you all enjoy that? Yeah, sorry, Lucy. I don't know how long you were waiting in the waiting room. I was lost.
No, I was late.
I will, I'll see if I can change the Zoom. It would change the Zoom link. I have to figure that out. Maybe I can just let you all come straight into the room without having to wait in the waiting room. I'll figure out how to do that. I know I can do that in a new thing, but I don't want to change the Zoom link. That creates its own other problems. Okay, so make a note. We don't want to take the time to share your encounters. I'm sure they were all kind of amazing. And I guess just generally, maybe you can, what if you put in the chat like 1 or 2 words just to express what that experience was like for you, whether like you're stuck, you couldn't do it at all, or, I was willing to surrender. So, whatever maybe the outcome was for you, you could share real quick in the chat. And then I will go ahead and get some other things ready to share, like our Facebook. Look at that. I found you, Karen. I want to gotta find a better way to display some of this stuff. Go to media. Here we go. Oh, that's wonderful, Lucy. Oh, nice. Amen. No more constraints. That's good. That's good. Okay. Couldn't hear my questions, Joanna. You couldn't hear me very well. So you're a little stuck, but you were able to see. I saw a diamond with all the facets. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. Good. Thank you for sharing. So what I'd like to do now, and by the way, if anybody needs to process any of that with me, offline, I can always be available for that. Because for some people, it might be challenging to do that. I'm expecting a lot from you guys. Okay, back to sharing this. You need to go to a different screen share setting, and we'll start looking real quick at your art that you did. And we're going to start with Karen because she was first. So what Karen told us in the group here was that she didn't like it very much initially, and she felt that was too wild and maybe too colorful, maybe. So you ended up kind of putting gold paint. I don't know if you put gold paint on it or you did something and it turned it gold. But here's this very pretty thing. So are these butterflies or just marks?
Well, I started out, and it's really funny because that's a gold wash, and it looks so much darker on the screen than it does in life. It's funny how the light changes it. But yeah, I didn't like the colors underneath. I washed the whole thing. You suggested bringing out the rose colored. So I kind of started with that big one and it looked like a butterfly and I just kind of felt
Yeah,
like
this
I was
one
in the
here.
forest and flowers. And so I just tried playing with the palette knife and, you know, you suggested some black marks and I used a watercolor pen for those. And
Okay.
I just started kind of messing around. It was fun. I did it for about 45 minutes to an hour this morning. And,
Awesome. What do you think of it? How do you feel about it?
well, it makes me happy. So like I said, I'm looking at it now here and it's much lighter in person. But what's so amazing is the depth that you get with the pink and then when you add the white, for me anyway, looking at it. And I like the fan brush. It's just kind of fun trying these different things. So I
It
guess
is.
there's hope for me yet.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's a very pretty color palette, actually. And I like you can see the marks underneath still and some movement and some depth. So the funny thing is everybody thinks that they're screwing up, you know, they've got all these ugly colors or wild stuff. But as you begin to do more and more work on top of it, you're just creating layers and depth that you can work on. And so what would you do to this if you were to do anything at all, Karen?
Well, this is where I get afraid. I liked it this morning. I don't know. I was thinking about using another color like a blue. I don't know. I have to wait and see. I just
Okay,
because-
well, let's
yeah.
look at this just critically for a minute. So
Okay.
one thing it might need would be a focal point. So
Okay.
my eye went quickly to this guy right here,
Another big one. That was the first one I did.
right? And I think let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Now I've got it all the way up. You might so this has a chance to become a little bit more representational if you want to take it this way. So I know my first instructions was don't do anything deliberately or to represent a thing or an object, just learn to paint. But now in this next step, we can take it a little further if you want. So a couple of things. One is you could develop a couple of foreground butterflies, make them a little, I wouldn't overwork them. Don't make them all detailed. I like the abstractness of it. And maybe just add, so what you can do is it's rose or what's the color you used? What is that?
I mixed, it's a red and a little bit of white. It's the cadmium red, it was a deep hue with some white in it.
Okay. All right. So what you could do is, so Cad Red Deep is warm, I think. I'd have to get my cheat sheet handy. And then what you could do is mix a little bit of, take some off to the side, mix a little bit of ultramarine blue in it, which is warm. And on these foreground, one or two, maybe more foreground, you can give it a little depth, little contrast with some purple. So basically what you're adding is you're going to add some dark. You mentioned blue. You can put some blue in here. So there's a couple ways you could do that. In the a cool blue, some of those brighter blues are actually cool. You could throw a little bit of blue somewhere in there. But what you might want to consider here is it's a similar pattern, right, that we're looking at. So, you know, the marks are similar, the brushworks are similar, the palette knife's similar. So it's good. I'm glad you're adding variety. This is great. Now you get to expand even more and not only change it up generally on the painting, because I can see you've got, you know, the fan brush, you've got a palette knife, you've got the watercolor pen, of course, regular paint and paint brushes. It's just that they're pretty repetitive.
Right.
So what you can do now is change that up, leave some of those, change some of those, or add more, just so we don't, otherwise what happens is we go, that's really pretty, but we get a little bored. So what we want to do, so this isn't a critique of you because you didn't know, right? So I'm just going to help you how to learn how to step into the next realm, which would be, now let's see if we do, and you have a choice. You can leave this alone as a milestone, right? Look what I did, because it's very pretty. You can. And then you could do another one, right?
Right.
You could try to, in a way, replicate the same sort of color palette because it's pretty together, and then try something new. Okay, did I thoroughly confuse you?
No, thank you.
Okay, good. All right, wonderful. Let's see who else we've got here. Let's see if this will just scroll to the next person. Okay, Joanna, is this your most recent? Okay. Awesome. So here's Thomas.
I ended up, I don't like it. I don't know why. I'm like, so I need to change something.
Okay. Well, what don't you like about it?
Maybe too busy or maybe too flat. I don't know. It becomes a restriction to me. I don't know what happened.
Let me get rid of the marks there.
But I kind of thinking last night, maybe I should, this would be a background with a train popping out, and then maybe I should make some kind of an amusement park in the forefront. I don't know, but I don't want to make it more busy than right now.
I don't think you need to add more rides. I think you want your focus to be sort of the train, but let's look at colors.
Okay.
So were you being, now this black thing on the left means what to you?
It's the tunnel coming out from a cave.
Okay. So and is this a little more, let me use this. Can you see my marker when I
Yes,
just
I do.
bounce it around? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like maybe a little cave right here. Is that what that is?
Continuation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're trying to do. So how would you make that clear? Well, probably in this case, you might want to connect over the top at least.
Okay.
Let's see, what would that do? The other thing is, however, the black is kind of overwhelming. It's kind of like we're not really sure. So I think there's a way you could do, instead of making it black with those marks on it, you could have chosen actually, did you use black paint?
I use what is that? Hold on, that is a water-based, water-soluble wax pastel set.
Oh, is that how you did the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was hoping that I use that, and then I would use some kind of a sharp thing to make markings to show the color from underneath, but I wasn't able to. So I ended up, I'll just use water and paint it over, and then use a tissue paper to wipe out some extra water so that it kind of seeing
Okay,
some
my
color.
question is, what color is that? Is that black?
That is black and blue and purple combination.
Okay. Yeah, I see a little of the purple here. Okay, I think it's a little darker than it needs to be, personally, because it's not really clear.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you could start by, doing the connecting from here to here to see what that might do.
Okay.
This is smoke, I take it, right? From the engine here. Okay. And then the other things that I'm looking at is it's competing for our attention, because all of these brush strokes are sort of mirrored all back here as well. So what could you do here? Now, I know you just took an abstract and play and you saw this thing and you're trying to help it emerge.
Yeah.
So like Michelangelo, who saw the final figure in this chunk of marble, you're going to do the same thing. So what can you pull out? So obviously if the train and the tunnel is kind of your primary thing, then what can you maybe push back? So if you notice this color here
Mm-hmm.
and this color here are the same.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Okay, so what would, based on what I've taught so far, what would help that recede?
What would help that to
What would help that recede? What would help that go into the background more?
use some warm color?
The other way around, cool color. So what is this color?
This is pink.
All right, so you know, it's not, I can't tell if it's warm or cool right now. All I know is they're identical.
Mm-hmm,
So
yeah.
maybe I would put a layer over the background pink.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe find a warm, so you know the cheat sheet I gave you. So if you're using water pastels, you're going to have to figure out what's warm and cool from those.
Okay.
I can't do that for you. You need to figure that out. But remember that your blue going towards red is warm, blue going towards green is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have here is everything is kind of all the same value and warm and cool tones.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we can't see any differentiation. So you can do it with value. Usually backgrounds will fade away and grow lighter. If you want to do that, you can do it in value. Like this black thing in the front of the cave, those dark things up close will bring it close. So like this painting here, this mountain kind of this way is coming more at you as is the branch tree because it's darker. So so you can do it that way, Joanna. So either color, temperature, or value, and maybe you know, change the focus, or just leave this and go work on a new thing. Do you have acrylic paints?
Yes, actually, most of it I'm using acrylic except the tunnel.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So it's just the tunnel that was pastel. Okay. Well, then just, paint over some of this then with, if you want to just use it as practice to see if you can figure it out. This would be a good test to see if you can figure out how to get the background to recede and the foreground to come forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
It's very cute though. It's fun, very playful.
I don't know. I always paint the things that are like cartoonish and I don't like it. I want it to have more maturity in my painting.
Well, you know, this was an exercise in fun, so you were meant to do it that way. Those are your other ones. Okay, let me see if I can find more. Let me get out of here. Okay, who else has a piece of work? Here's Diane's. Diane, I think, and Lucy. Okay. This is, I want to get to your
That's
final.
my first one. Yeah, that's the final one.
That's the final one. Okay, so let's just look what she did with this. It's kind of fun to see.
That was the first, and then
first.
yeah.
And playful, a lot like yours, Joanna. Lots of color, movement, shapes, experimenting with all kinds of different patterns and brush strokes. And then as she played with it more and more, like you, she saw something develop too. We saw them earlier. I even mentioned, I see these vases happening. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's actually another something back here. And then this is like exploding. And then there's all of this going on. And it's very fun. Now, what's kind of cool about this, and this is sort of what we're talking about, like Karen, just looking for varieties in your composition and brushstrokes and things. She's got repetitive brushstrokes and patterns, no doubt, right? You see these guys repeat quite a bit. You see this shape repeat. You see these repeat. You see these guys repeat. But they're different colors, different patterns, different placements. And so it makes it interesting. And you can look through, you can look at this and go, you could be very entertained. Let me get rid of that guy. You can be entertained quite a while. Well, I can't make it any bigger. You can entertain yourself quite a while looking at a painting like this, right? Because there's a lot to look at. What do you like about it, Diane?
Well, I like how it progressed with, and I had no intention of this, but where you have your arrow right now on that one
Mhm.
pot, I really like that. It just happened. And
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
it's very abstracty because it doesn't finish. But you can
Right.
clearly see it's a pot. And I thought, well,
Yep.
that was really cool. And then what I started to do, I really made it very muddy and very ugly at one point, especially on the left. It was just a mess. And what I was finding was to put the blue back in the background, like the right had lost the blue in the background. So I had to put that back in. And what I'm finding is I love different brushes that I haven't used before. Like the pot down at the bottom, I used a mop brush on that to do the white, to dab the white in this blue one
Mhm.
where it looks like almost like wings coming out of it. And the one that's
This one over
more,
here.
yeah, it was neat to use the different warms and cools to see the background and the foreground, to bring
Right, right.
them out. So I really learned a lot by doing that and using the palette brush and using a dagger brush, which I had never done, and the fan brushes. So I like the depth. I like the background, the foreground. I like how it goes back and forth. This fifth pot that's and I see the same thing. The fifth pot that's kind of transpiring. I've gone over and over and over where that flower kind of is above it. That
Mhm.
has been, just a sore spot. And so I've
Wish I
done,
could get it bigger.
yeah, very different things with that.
Oh, there I go. Figured it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, but that flower there, or
Mhm,
whatever it is,
mhm.
whatever it's become, but,
Well, this flower does come forward quite a bit.
mhm,
And I don't, you have to decide if you want that because it might be competing with this whole
right.
piece here. I love this over here. I
Mhm,
love that abstract thing there.
mhm,
You might just consider whether you want that forward or
yeah,
not
yeah. I
with
probably
with
don't.
your colors.
I thought about filling that area again with where you were saying you love the pinkish, I love the blurs. I call them the
Mhm.
blurs. I
I
like
do too.
those. I thought about doing some of that
You
up over
you
the
might
flower with
want a
blue.
little bit more of that somewhere
Yeah,
just to tie it in again, just a little bit,
yeah.
just a little touch.
This little green, almost like it's like a waterfall down at the bottom next to the other pot. I just had some paint knife on my
Oh,
palette
here,
knife.
yeah.
Yeah, and I just swished it down. It almost looked like waterfall for the flower, like for flowers or something.
Well, I think it's very fun. I think it's very fun. And I like how you were able to take your abstract and find some elements to it that you could develop a little further, which is brave of us, right? Because we think we have something that we like, and like Karen, you're painting so pretty as it is. Do I want to mess with it? Do I want to learn on it, or am I willing to just explore? And that's a personal call for you.
Well, I'll tell you
Always.
what I learned with this was starting at the beginning, I really liked that. And
Right.
it was a
This is
step
your
for
beginning
me.
piece.
Yeah, it was a real step for me to begin because you could still see like the palms, like
On
some of the
one.
palms and all in the background. That's what it
Right.
started as, these dull looking
Yeah.
palm trees that I didn't even, it just came out of the background where it was three of them. And then what I had to do with this is I had to take a step into the fearful zone.
Right, here was your ugly stage.
Yeah, that was the ugly stage.
So this was the second stage she took photos of, and right here, she could have given up. And it's not that ugly, by the way, but you know, to her, but
Yeah.
compared to this, you can see where it evolved. So I told Sandy Sue Newman in our chat the other day, and she mentioned it in that post I shared, that thank you, Diane, by the way, this is
You're
great.
welcome. Thank you.
That that I said, you know, I've learned that I can almost fix any painting, you know, I mess up. And she wondered how long it took me to get to that point. And it, you know, I would say I'm still discovering that process of how to not panic and keep working.
Well, it took me this to do that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have touched the beginning. I probably would have left it, but I thought, no, you know, I'm going to continue. This is play. I'm going to play. And you can fix things. You can
change it. You can change
because I have a
anything.
lot of paint. There's
yeah,
a
right.
lot of
There would
paint
be a
on
lot
there.
of paint on that. Good job. Okay. Lucy, you said you put something up.
I just
Which
put
one?
a new one actually just now. That yesterday because I changed it.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah,
This
that one.
Okay. Let's go there. Here we go. Let's zoom in. Wish I could. There we go. Okay. Oh, there I can move it around a little bit. All right. So tell us what you love, what you like, what you hate, how you feel about this.
My favorite part about it is the top left there. I love the colors, the way they turned out, the way they blended.
Pretty.
Just the, you
I
know,
could get this out of
it just seemed like it all
there.
came together there. The swirls, I had those black before, but then I thought yesterday, you know what? I don't like that. So I added the dark purple
Purple.
and then some more like magenta and actually white. I used white to cover up the black, but I just kind of like that better.
I see your drips coming through. That's fun.
Yeah, I tried to do the alcohol. I think I'm gonna try the water. I forgot about using water.
Well, this is alcohol in here. You can see it, the way it
Yes,
manipulates the water. It gives it an interesting look.
true. Okay.
Yep. I like it. And so now here's what I would love for you to explore as you continue to do this. So you said this was your favorite area here, this left. And why is that?
Those are my favorite colors.
Okay,
I love
your favorite.
That's just like I enjoy that color combination. It's just I have a lot of things.
Yeah, the blue and the
doing.
green and the yellow and
Yeah.
turquoise in combination. Okay. One of the reasons you like it so much is because there's more layering here than perhaps some other areas. I'm not sure. And it gives you interest. So now I know you started, you know, this is your play, right? This was you experimenting. So, and I do see this in other people as well, that you know, you tend to put a color here and a color here and a color here. and like there's this a little bit of fear that I'm noticing with all of us to cover up, not cover up, but to layer over so that you don't get blocked. So if you were to look at this, except for this, which I added just to demonstrate, and I wouldn't keep it there, there's not a block of color. Here, they're muted, they're blended, they're shared, they're surrounded, they're on top of, over. So in your next one, because your next abstract for all of us, for your homework, can be more thought out. So you don't have to just not think. Like the instruction here was, don't think, don't plan, don't analyze it, don't have it all figured out, just play. And you all did brilliantly at that. Now this next one, you can, if you want, you can also play. But if you want to plan it out, you can, because we want to produce now an abstract that's really going to pull together some of the teachings that we've had so that we can move on to the next process. Because in these processes, this is where you're learning to apply layers and paint, and to, let's see, would this work? What would happen if I stop sharing for a second? And let's see if I can do this. If it does it for me. It's going to find, oh, it's not going to be able to find it because that's blocking it. You guys have challenged me to get into a, there it goes, and it should happen now. Isn't that fun? I don't know why it gives me balloons, but then it's focusing on the whiteboard and it'll lock in here. Isn't that cool? Okay, so what was I going to show you? I had something in my mind before I got distracted. Oh yeah, this guy. So here's the reason for the play. This painting, and then I can also zoom in, I think. Come on, come on. Maybe, maybe not. Let's go like this so it can see the L. Supposed to be to do these things. Oh well. Okay. This is representational, right? There's going to be a tree, there's a river, there's some mountains. And then this is going to be sort of cosmos. And so I'm going to put stars, and it's, it's meant to be mysterious and cosmos. But just in here, there are so many layers and layers and layers of paint that I've put over and over and over, thin washes of paint over and over and over and over again, to keep building and building and building. So you need to have that concept down to be able to create anything you want. So, and now in watercolor, I'm not so sure, because that's not my medium to talk about as much, Sherilyn, but I think there's still, for sure, there's still the idea, thin washes of color, letting them dry in between and layering some more is going to give you that effect over and over and over again. Then this painting, you can see a familiar color palette. This I did about, I don't know, a year or so ago. And it's in here in my art room because I want to go over this with oil. Now, it's already varnished and everything, but because it's all water soluble materials, I'm going to experiment a little bit on this. And I'm going to darken the sky, the clouds, because this is Cosmos too, and maybe darken a little bit in here and see if I can't make her pop more, right?
What size is that canvas, Claudia?
This is probably 18 by, well, let me see. Yeah, it's 18 by 24.
Okay.
Because here's a 1620.
Right.
Yeah, there you can see. This is 1620 or a little smaller than I like to paint, but I do have a lot of them because sometimes I'll do those in the healing rooms a lot because I can do them quickly. Okay, so those are the reasons you need to, let's see, what do I want to do? Come back to me. Come back to me. Camera. Come on, right here, right here. There you go. Okay. It doesn't talk though. I wish it would talk or listen. I'd rather have it listen than talk. All right, let's continue. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, so the best laid plans. I can never do everything I want to do for you guys. Would you like to, let's see, who else has something they want to be evaluated? Speak if you do. or Carolyn, by the way, is your life back in order yet after your drama last week?
Slowly. We just got our internet back, so things were going in and out, and Sol was going in and out, but we got electricity Saturday. So
Oh boy.
Saturday night. So it's been a rough week. Now we have a lot of trees down, and so a lot of cleanup. And
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, so it's been kind of emotional. My silk tree got all destroyed, and
Oh,
that's my absolute that's my tree. So I'm very
yeah.
that's what
I'm
I
sorry.
look out on. So it's kind of an ugly view out my back window now. It used to be of our acreage with these beautiful oak trees, and now it's a mess. So,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
but so now I have internet, so I'll go back and do last week's thing. And before it all went gunny bag, I had started on this thing. Just
Okay, good.
so
Oh, that's pretty.
yeah, I mean, it was a one try, and then we lost electricity and it sat.
Well, maybe you can go back to that then.
Is
Okay.
that
Yeah.
watercolor or is that acrylic?
No, I got acrylic so I could
Yeah.
follow along and learn something.
Well, that's what
So yeah,
yeah,
but
I like the colors. Yeah.
the palette knife go in and the fan brush and trying different things too.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming in the midst of the storm, literally. And welcome back. And yes, those videos, last week's videos are up, so you can go back and watch them. And I'll try to get this up probably tomorrow. Let's be real. Sue, Clark, do you have, or Sandy, do you have something you'd like us to share and talk about? Andy, I know you do.
I haven't got anything. Have had a bad week again, and I just haven't painted. I had a block. I've set all my paints out to go a new canvas, and every time I've gone to do it, I've gone back to remember where I used to be where I couldn't make a mark. Well, I got back into that state. So I'm hoping and praying that things will change this week and I can have a go a new. I bought myself some canvas instead of the paper I was using before. I've actually got some proper canvas stuff now. So I'm going to go in and do some more pictures, but I've been really stuck. I haven't been well either. So it's been kind of an up and down week.
It's tough when you're physically sick and emotionally stuck. That combination, you kind of lose the strength. But that would be a good time to maybe post in the group and say, please pray for me because, right?
Yeah, I never think about that, and I should really.
Part of the benefit of our group. And the other thing is, the way to get unstuck, yank your foot out of the tar and just go make a mark on the canvas. I mean, just some of it's sheer determination. You have to tell that part of your brain that's, I don't know if it's fear or intimidation, whatever it might be, you have to choose not to partner with it, particularly when you've had breakthrough.
Yes. It's like
and then you find yourself back. So what you do is you go find that from the breakthrough. You find what was the key to that. And it's usually and almost always around a belief, getting rid of the wrong belief, replacing it with the correct belief. So go find what the issue is and just replace it again.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Yeah, I mean, and I can say that to you, Sue, because I know what you know, right? And I know where you've been. So you can consider this a little bit of both the, oh, I'm so sorry you had a rough week. Now get up and get back to work. So it's both of those. Okay. So you can't willingly allow yourself to stay stuck.
No, I don't want to.
I mean,
and
I know
determined not
when we're
to.
sick, that's why I said it's hard when your body is not cooperating.
Mm.
So, so then we pray for one another.
It's my head. Pray for my head, because it's my head where I've got the problem. It's from, I think it's from when I've had 4 bad falls, and I think
know.
it's had an effect on my head. And I saw the doctor today, and he took my blood pressure, and it was up as well. So that he was sympathetic. Not
Probably
that he
more
had
than
the
I am.
answer. He didn't have the answer, but he was very good in putting it all together, so to speak. So I'm
Okay.
not surprised that my head is a little bit unable to
Uncooperative. Well,
focusing
here,
is very
so
hard.
so for all of us, so Sherilyn, you've had this physical around you issues that I'm sure have affected you emotionally, and like you said, your favorite silk tree's been damaged. Sue's got this problem that she's just described. We all have those, issues in our life. So what if we were just close? So just practice this for a second. Close your eyes. Without the buildup, just reconnect and go right back where you left you in heaven. Just go right back there and see it and grab it. Because you live and reign from heaven. This is your permanent home. This is where you live. If anything's unreal, it would be this by comparison. This earth is so temporary. You dwell in heavenly places. You are seated at the right hand of the Father. Nothing's impossible with God. With God, all things are possible. You're never out of his sight. He has the best for you, the plans for you, future and a hope. So you always remind yourself of truth whenever you're battling the lies. You just have to declare it. You can't partner with it. You cannot partner with it, because one step, yes, I know there's physical things and we have stuff, and there are moments and there's days and even weeks where we might be believing the liar, but we know the way. We know the way of escape, and it is to reconnect with the one who loves us and pulls us out of the miry clay and sets us on high ground. So it's, a funny thing with God. Most of the time, I know there seems to be exceptions to this, but most of the time, it requires us turning and asking and doing, as opposed to him coming in, barging in, saying, excuse me, what are you doing? Why are you here? I don't want you here. He will do that. I mean, he will do that. But I think we can't really count on that. I think we need to know that our answers always lie in us turning to him, reconnecting, and just saying, okay, well, yeah, I don't feel great in my body, but I could meditate on you right now. And he can lift you out of that painful moment, or even the pain in our body, or even the sorrow of our broken tree that would kill me. I love silk trees. And but what I hope what you all saw in heaven far surpassed everything that you look around and you see here. There's no deciduous trees in heaven. Like my husband looks out here, he literally wants to cut down everything because he gets a little confused and he thinks they're dead. Like, honey, they're not dead, they're deciduous. But they look dead and they're ugly this time of year. That ain't gonna happen in heaven. Okay. Well, Sandy, or how are you?
Do you want? I'm doing a lot better. Do you want to evaluate that river one real quick?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Supposed
do
to be
it.
a river.
Here it is. I think this is the current one, right? what's going on here? Why doesn't it want to do that? Okay, I gotta, la. Let me, I think I go, oh, it stopped sharing. Okay. All right, let's do that. There we go. Okay. So now, ladies, when you take your pictures, by the way, because I think, Karen, you said, the color's not as nearly as good as the reality. And that's true. No matter really what you do, it's never going to look like it really does, unless you take it to a photographer who's gotten the setup and the lighting and everything just right, which I might do for Jesus. But when you take your photo, make sure it's as level as you can get it. Oh, you can't even see me. Maybe you can. Yeah, you can. So, make sure it's as level as you can get it. You can crop it in your camera, when you take it, but make sure you're showing the whole thing and try to get as little bit of the outside as possible, because like the blue check tablecloth there kind of competes with the painting, right? So we don't really want to see that. We want, as plain a background as possible, as good a lighting as possible, because we want to really see how it looks from your perspective. Okay. So let's see. So here's two different views. And actually, and if you put it, do you have an easel, Sandy? Are you painting flat or on an easel? Okay, you're painting flat. So that makes it harder. But maybe you can prop it up against the kitchen cabinet or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As long as the lighting is good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have two here to look at. All right. What do you love about it the most?
What do I love about it the most? I like the colors. And
Yes.
yeah, I like the way the colors turned out.
Very pretty. They go well together, don't they? And I liked how you added, do you see what you did? I remember you didn't, I don't think you had this in the first ones. This dark in here that you've added. Let me get my annotation thing. Right?
Yeah.
These weren't there at first, your first pass, I don't think, when we saw it. That adds a nice contrast, and it helps you sense. Now, this is a value because it's darker. So, and the interesting thing is, though, do you know what color that is?
It is, where is that? Oops. Where is it? No, I can't find it. Oh, right in front of me. It is phthalocyanine blue.
Okay. So the light blue, and then how did you get it dark?
Well, I started off with the dark,
Okay.
and then I added some white. White.
That's the only difference here. You didn't add black or purple or anything here?
No, this is the one I used.
That's straight out of the tube there. Okay, that's
straight out of the tube. Then I added white. Yeah, this is the only blue I used on the river part. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I like that there's contrast because it helps us get the sense of movement in there, which I like. Good job on that. And then you were intentionally painting a river?
Yeah.
Question mark. That's a question mark. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Let me get this. And then we have these pretty greens down here, and I like the different brush strokes. I like the different direction. Is this like grass?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Okay. So yes, that gives it that effect, and yet it's still an abstract. Let me get back here. Still abstract. You're not really clear. It kind of feels like that. How about in here? What color? Same thing, just that blue with white?
Blue and white, yeah.
You didn't add any into the blue to get purple?
No.
Okay. Well, there's a trick for you. You could do that. You could add. You can even add some red and yellow. I'll add a little bit of orange into your grassy areas. The thing is, the brain thinks grass is green.
Yeah.
My grass is always green. If you were to go look at any especially wild grasses, right? In a natural environment, you're going to see lots of brown, lots of some orangey browns, and all kinds of colors. So the same thing for water. You're not going to just see blue or blue and white. You're going to see maybe some greens and whites and grays, and but lots of greens and blacks and grays. So this is part of our training, is learning how to see in the natural as well as the spiritual. So when we go to heaven, you're learning to see spiritually. When you're painting, you have to learn to see not through your brain, but through your eyes. And your eyes, your brain will tell you, oh, I want to paint grass, so I'm going to paint it green. And I add the yellow, could give it that limey green. It's a very pretty shade. But it's not necessarily what you're seeing. So practice all around, ladies. When you're out and about, like I'm looking out, we have a view out that window. When I look at that window right now, the foreground is like a canyon with green in it, lots of greens and browns and grays and things. But those mountains that I'm seeing behind it, those are a bluish lavender red. It's almost like Diane, what color is that shirt you're wearing right there? It's almost like that color. You're muted, so we didn't hear you, but it's almost that color, a little deeper.
Like a
Mount-
periwinkle.
Yeah. Mountains are not, we think they're, well, I know that mountain is covered in pine trees, so it must be green. That's what our brain does. But if you look at it and really go, what color is it? Not what represents it, but what color is it? You're going to see it's periwinkle or gray or light blue or lavender. And you're going to, then you paint more authentically that way. So anyway, so for Sandy, that's what I want you to start practicing. Looking with your eyes for colors to pull them out so that you can see. So like would be awesome if you could, even if you can't do it in the natural, you could find photographs of close-ups of water running through a meadow or something. And you study that and look and see what colors are there. It'll surprise you. But anyway, what I like here too is, see this turquoisey color up in here? I like that. I like that there's this different stroke here than there is here. So I think you did a good job of experimenting. I like how the strokes on the bottom. Are you seeing my mouse move?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That you can see, like, it's kind of like, oh, the water's, moving, splashing or something. Of course, if this were a waterfall, it probably wouldn't really look like this because the grass wouldn't be coming up, right? Right. So it's a little bit, you got a little couple of things going on here, water flowing and maybe spreading out, but then grass going up alongside of it isn't necessarily what happens in nature. It doesn't mean it doesn't work here. So anyway, good job on that. And I think just keep pushing yourself. All of us, keep pushing yourselves to, let me get rid of that, to explore. Okay, I think I'm done. I can stop sharing. To explore more
It's
and more and more.
3 o'clock. I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. Yes,
You're
it's
welcome.
time. And so part of your homework gets posted in the group. It included drawing, so you can skip over that again. And it'd be great. Let's all, if we can, to the best of your abilities, try to come, even early, or certainly at the start, so we can start quickly and and try to make as much progress as we can, as quick as we can, because there's always more to show you. I do want to show you some drawing skills, but I won't do it now. So you can skip over the drawing part of the homework, okay? And then we'll get to that next time. So here's your assignment though. Create from start to finish now, not with something you've already started. You can continue to play with whatever you've done all you want and explore and expand and muck up or make magnificent and whatever, it doesn't matter. But your homework is to start an original abstract painting deliberately with, you know, with something in mind. I don't necessarily want you to do a thing. So abstracts can be, they can have an object involved, like Diane's vases and flowers, but you see those were very abstract. So if you're going to do a thing, an object, keep it very abstract, loose, you know, barely recognizable in a way. Think
Would
of
you
it
say
that
like
way.
Van Gogh kind of?
Well, no, Van Gogh is more impressionistic
Oh, okay.
as opposed to abstract. So I still am talking abstract. What tell you what, part of your homework, just take a few minutes, bounce through the internet, images, and just Google, you know, images of abstract paintings. And I bet if you did that, you're going to get 20 million of them. And just scroll through a few of those and pick out maybe one or two that you really like. And then post them in the group and you can ask, is this what you mean? And then that would be a good way. And then we'll all have a different feel because it's your version of abstract is going to be very different from each other.
Okay.
Very different from each other. And that's okay. It's just, here's the objective. Use what you've learned. So take advantage of warm and cool colors and transparent and opaques and markings and different brush strokes and different application with water, without water, with alcohol, straight, diluted, runny, splattered. Just be able, add gold leaf if you want, do whatever you want, but let it be abstract and free. And that's your homework.
Claudia, when you talk about alcohol, I went to the art shop and I wasn't quite sure what it is.
It's just rubbing alcohol, whatever that is.
Where does
Here.
the alcohol come from?
A bottle. Let me find it.
Just
It's,
rubbing alcohol.
It's just
It's rubbing alcohol.
Regular rubbing alcohol.
The stuff you
Rubbing
have in
alcohol.
your drugstore.
Drugstore.
Yeah, you get it at the drugstore.
Right. Okay. I'll have
Okay,
a look.
I don't know in England if it's any different, and then you just put some in a little spray bottle.
Right.
But it only works if your paint is really watery.
Right.
So when you apply it, watery. It doesn't seem to have any effect if it's not watery, because what it's really doing is dispersing the water,
Oh, I see.
and it just sort of creates cool little marks and movements. I used quite a bit of that in here, but then I have layer and layer and layer upon it, so you don't.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, there's a lot of here. This is a good section that had probably alcohol in it.
Right. I could see.
It's just fun. You don't have to, but it's just, it's a technique that you can
It's
play.
it's another part that you can
It's
use.
another part that you can use. Exactly.
I thought there might be a little bottle or something that you can buy with it, but
So easy. Too easy.
yes. Okay.
Okay. All right, beloved. So good work. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see what you're going to play with and produce. Don't be afraid to make a mark. Don't be afraid that it might be ugly. Don't be afraid that it's not going to be good enough. Don't be afraid that, someone's going to do it better than you. This is how you will grow, is to expand. You're not going to become an artist if you don't paint a lot. Right. And if you'd like to make yourself available to the Lord to use you through creativity, you have to give up your right to be perfect out of the gate.
That's good. Good.
It really helped me when I turned on worship music to do that last painting.
Yes. I say that in my notes. So start with the homework. I said, start with the encounter we already had. Return to that encounter, turn on some music, change the atmosphere, get your heart engaged, and do it from that place.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you go. I can't wait to
Thank
see.
you.
I
Have a great,
love you
well,
guys.
it's a great
Thank
2 weeks.
you. Love you
I
too.
won't be back for
Oh,
2
we
weeks
won't
because
see you for,
yeah,
okay.
well, we're gonna take a week break, right? After
Yes.
next week. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So I won't be there next week. Sorry, guys. I miss you all.
That's going to be a bummer. That's right.
Yeah.
We meet next week, and then we take the following week. The 6th is off, just for good measure, to have a little break. And then we go 4 weeks. And in those 4 weeks that follow, I'd like to, maybe I'll do an art, a little drawing class video to give you guys, since I'm having so much trouble finding time to bring that in.
Great.
I want you to work in this. Once we come back from the break, it's going to be more focusing on, a prophetic painting. Okay. So that's why I said in that video, it's time to start thinking about what you want to produce. And you can take the next 4 weeks that we can work on it together, right? We can talk about it. You can display it. You can say, how am I going to do this? And we can work through it together. But we'll keep playing with techniques, and we'll keep growing. But it's time to start gathering. What is the Lord putting on your heart? And I'll just give you this little clue. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Yeah. Because I've seen lots of people want to start off, they get a vision, like they see, a chariot and a wave and explorers in a boat, and they see keys floating from heaven, and they see this amazing vision, and they want to paint every detail. And unless you happen to be at the skill level that could do that, I am not, it's going to be a big cluttered mess. So instead you get, okay, Lord, what is on your heart? And that's why you'll see a lot of my stuff is simple. Okay, this is a call to go into the heavens with the Lord. And I used a digital photo I found for the model, and then I put her in the clouds. And, I just, you want to gel it down to the concept that you want to portray, and then you find a reference for it. So if it's a body or a human, that's going to be hard if you've never drawn a human before. But if you can trace it, if you've figured out how to do that, you can do that for sure. But just go gather up some resources, and we can talk about how to carry it out later. But get ready. Okay. I love you all.
Love you too. Thank you.
Please check in with us during the week. Use our Facebook group. Get stuck, questions, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
You're welcome. Bye.